Workshop have announced some new, interesting, and important rules to do with terrain and also the missions. And so, the main part of this is that there's going to be terrain points. So, for Combat Patrol, you're going to have 50 to 100 points, and then as you go up, you will have more terrain points. And each piece of terrain is worth a certain amount of points. And of course, as this was hinted at previously, each player is going to bring their own terrain as opposed to, and they can make that more tactical, etc. Now, I think although this is a pretty nice idea, one problem is it means that to play tournaments you have to spend quite a bit of money on terrain, because like if we go to Games Workshop, although there is terrain, it's not exactly cheap, and saying like this storage vein, this is only going to be 40 points. If you're doing a big game, you're going to need a lot of terrain, and of course if you go to terrain, and all terrain is quite expensive. Like this has a storage and a few other things, that's 55 quid, and that is a bit of a problem. If you want to play competitive, you're going to have to pay more, and this does mean tournament organisers will suddenly have loads of terrain that they'll no longer need, although it is quite a good thing for tournament organisers. But this is going to be a bit of a problem in my opinion, because if I'm playing, I don't really want to spend 100 quid on terrain just so I can play a game. And furthermore, what it just means is it means that you're going to be instead, if you want to make your own terrain, use your own terrain, which a lot of people do because it's very fun making terrain. And then you're going to have to use make up your own points values for all that stuff, and you won't be able to officially use it in tournaments, which will be a real pain. It's going to make, and they've also got ability, so they're sort of making it so like terrain is more like fortifications than terrain, which is a cool thing. It sort of ruins the idea of just having a fun looking battlefield in a competitive game, and things that make it fair, like just having it so it's not got too much LOS or all that normal stuff. If you've got a massive tank line, who all of which are really good anti-infantry and and really strong tank line, you're going to want to have little LOS terrain and cover terrain at the back, and you're going to be ridiculously overpowered. Whereas if there's an infantry army, they're going to struggle against you, because although they might get some of the primaries, you can still get some elimination secondaries and etc. And of course, you can eliminate their minis quite quickly and use your infantry to take more control of the board. So I think competitively, I'm not too sure about this is a good idea, and it's going to be very expensive. Like the whole thing was that you can start playing competitively in a 500 point game as a bit of fun, but still quite competitively for 50 quid, which was like really cool. But now it's not. Now it's double that, because you have to pay for terrain if you want to play competitively in tournaments, which is why I personally really don't think that is an idea. And furthermore, there's going to be some new secondaries. Score sorry, not secondaries. It's going to have so this is an end game objective. If score 5 victory points at the end of the battle for each enemy building unit that's destroyed, that's pretty worthless, because you're not going to just spend your time shooting at terrain when there's actual units to shoot at. But then again, you could just, if they bring tons of terrain, you could use that to your advantage and just get loads of points, and the game's no longer fun anymore, because opposed to having an actual battle, you're just shooting around the piece of terrain to get victory points. Because like if this is a big game, it's like 10 pieces of terrain, you're gonna want your tanks to be firing with that, and it might ruin it will really feel a bit stupid. Score 3 points at the end of the battle for each critical feature terrain you control. Again, sort of okay. Nothing particularly great, not particularly great for you. It will work with a resilient army. I think that will work quite well with my Death Guard. But the thing is, I think the end of the battle stuff not that good for like what you control at the end of the battle. Because at the end of the battle, you're likely to not have many units left on the board. And then of course we have this forward outpost. So the way it is terrain marker and objective marker. And I was a bit annoyed about how complicated they were. now they're just making it even more complicated. And for example, I did do a 500-point game, and I spent about half the time setting up and half the time playing, and now it's just going to be even longer setting up, which is a bit weird. So yeah, it's you bring your own space of random, but I think it's not random because it's always designed in tournaments to make the game fair. So I'm not particularly stoked about this. It's just some new things. It might add some interesting things, but I personally don't want to spend my money on terrain. It's like, well then, if terrains get features, well, fortification is going to be. Are they going to be worth terrain points or what? I don't know. I hope you enjoyed this video. I put out other videos to do with Warhammer news and particularly stuff to do with Death Guard if you are interested in that. So make sure to like and subscribe, and of course turn on notifications so you can see all my other videos that I do upload. But for now, hope you enjoyed. Bye.